Bop, beep, beep.
What's your next question?
My next question.
Oh, wait, just tell me what it is first. Okay. Welcome to the second edition of our show. Ezekiel here, Jared here, and he's going to ask me the annoying questions he usually asks me off air. Now, we've done some other episodes, and there were some really smart questions, but this is one of the ones that is really, really annoying, and I hope that when I get abused online for answering this, they'll remember to abuse you as well. All right, what's your question?
Who is the best player of all time in ODI, Test, and T20?
Is this men's or women's or men's and women's?
Oh, that's a really good question. Let's do both.
Okay, so in Test cricket, we don't have that many great women's players because they haven't played many games. So that's easy. We can get rid of it quite quickly. I think if we're looking at the best player of all time in men's Test cricket, it will be Don Bradman.
Okay.
I think if we were to have a short list, probably Garfield Sobers would be quite high up that list as well.
So like batters, kind of.
Hey?
So like batters.
He's a bowler as well, isn't he? That's the thing. And then you might have Imran Khan, I think, would be really high up on that list as well. So they would be the three that I think would but it's Bradman, right? It's very hard not, I think Imran Khan had 10 years where he was almost on a Bradman level, right? But Bradman had an entire life of being Bradman.
True.
Are you happy with that? Did you think it would be Bradman? Who would you pick?
Oh, I thought it would be Bradman. I thought it would be Bradman.
Who are you going to pick?
Also, stop saying that. I'm going to just mainly pick batters here and also say... God, this is a really hard one.
Can we play thinking music? This is live. People are watching this all around the world.
No, they're not. So it's Bradman probably.
You look like you're about to do a poo then.
Sobers, and probably did Callis play Test?
Callis is a really good one too. Yeah, I think I could see how you would put him in that list. I'd probably have him a little bit lower than the other two, but I think he's a very good one. Okay,
yeah.
ODI cricket.
ODI cricket.
So if you put women's cricket in, I think Elise Perry becomes really interesting in ODI cricket.
This is more of a T20.
No, I think ODI is her best format. No one's ever got her out in ODI cricket. So I think if you were looking at best ODI player, regardless of gender, Elise Perry has a very, very good claim. I think if you are looking at it as far as the men's game goes, I would say that I think Sachin Tendulkar and Viv Richards are quite interesting.
Viv Richards, really?
Yeah, so Viv Richards' numbers are almost the same, very similar to Rohit Sharma's numbers, and he did it 40 years ago when no one else was doing anything like that. So I think I would have him high. I'm trying to think if there's been a great ODI all-rounder.
I can never think of it. Richard Hadley, did he play ODI?
Richard Hadley did, but kind of at the beginning of ODI cricket. So I don't think he was great. Kapil Dev was a fantastic player in ODIs.
Kapil Dev is an all-rounder, isn't he?
Another all-rounder. I'm not sure if either of them would push. And Kapil Dev had a great strike rate as well. Which really? I really like. Yeah, like he was
just a kind of bowler
who liked to hit the ball very hard. Also, he's a very good fielder. So Viv Richards bowled a little bit more, I think, per game than Sachin Tendulkar did. But Sachin was probably the better bowler of the two of them. But Viv had to bowl because they didn't have anyone else.
Really, what bowlers did they have in the 1900s?
In the 1900s?
Yeah.
What, great bowlers, you mean? So if you're looking at great bowlers in ODI cricket, it's hard because you can only bowl 10 overs.
I thought you could bowl unlimited, Test.
No. So you can only bowl 10 overs. I would say that if you were looking at the great ODI bowlers of all time, you would probably have McGrath, Garner, Wasim Akram, and then Jasprit Bumrah, obviously, of recent times would be the one that you would add there. But I'm not sure I would have them ahead of any batters, just because batters can... Like, if you average 50 with a bat...
In what?
In one-day cricket... you are probably facing a lot of balls per game, and you are fielding and you are bowling. So I would still probably have it out of Richards and Tendulkar, and then AB de Villiers would be the other one. And I'd have to look at how much he wicket kept, because if he wicket kept a lot, I think I might put him a little bit higher. So that hasn't helped you. Off the top of my head, I would probably go to but I need to do a deeper dive to be 100% sure of that.
Yeah.
But I've given you about 10 players. Can you give me one? Who is the greatest ODI player of all time, Ezekiel?
Now, can you give me an error?
No, you didn't give me an error.
Okay, I'll give. Okay.
What's this? You don't get special rules.
I'll give you 1900s then. No, 90s.
Okay, who's the best ODI player in the 90s?
90s, huh?
That hasn't made it any easier for you.
Ooh,
Also,
I'll still say Sachin.
What kid picks the 90s over modern times?
Sachin.
I think in the 90s it would have to be Sachin, yeah. McGrath is another interesting one. It's also worth mentioning MS Dhoni, who I think is a fantastic player, and Gilchrist.
Yes.
And Murali, of course, as well. So there's quite a few. I think Sachin's a very good pick because also the amount of ODI cricket he played. He starts playing in the 80s.
Played 15 years, right?
20 years, I think, maybe. Yeah, I can't remember when he retired from ODI cricket, but it's a long career. Okay, that's fine. Now we're on T20.
T20, which I think is the hardest one.
Oh, okay.
Or the easiest, one of those.
So in T20, do we just look at international cricket because people don't play a lot of international cricket, or do we also look at domestic cricket in T20?
What? Like
the IPL?
Blast IPL.
IPL is a little bit better than the Blast.
CPL.
Yeah. Oh, look at you. You've been to a CPL game.
I have.
And a 100 game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we should include domestic.
Yeah.
For that.
All formats.
Okay.
Of T20.
Oh yeah, all formats of T20, but obviously the international and World Cups and IPL and those sorts of leagues will hold higher than we will what you do in the Blast. I think Andre Russell's a really interesting one.
I like Chris Gayle. I think Chris Gale's also up there.
Chris Gale's interesting as well. There's a few West Indians. We forgot to mention Virat Kohli in the ODI, greatest ODI players of all time.
Virat Kohli also played T20.
I don't think I'd have him in this list. I'm not at the very top. I think there are better players than him, although he's had some great World Cups specifically, unlike recently. AB de Villiers.
How about that player? What's his name? He did 6 sixes. He played for India.
Yuvraj Singh.
Yeah.
He sort of missed the great. He actually had cancer when T20 cricket sort of went, so he wasn't always at his best. I think if he'd been born 5 or 6 years later, he would have been an interesting one. But good memory. I like Andre Russell and Sunil Narayan. What about Rashid Khan?
Rashid Khan, yeah, he does play T20.
Any Sri Lankan great players, since you've got a Sri Lankan shirt on?
Kumar Sangakkara, did he play T20?
Yeah, I don't think even Kumar would have himself on any list here. There's a bowler with big hair. A bowler with a...
Oh, yes, Lasif
Malinga. I think that they're all up there. I think if it's me, I automatically go with an all-rounder, or I try and find an all-rounder where that's possible. And I think that Andre Russell is probably being the best all-rounder in T20 cricket history.
Andre Russell.
But Rashid Khan probably still has another 5 or 6 years in him.
Well, what about
Pakistan?
Shahid Afridi.
So Shahid Afridi again was like when we talked about Yuvraj Singh before. Yes. Probably his career is a bit. So Shahid Afridi was playing in 1996. T20 cricket wasn't invented till 2003. Did you know that?
No.
Who invented it? What country?
Australia.
Nope.
England.
Yeah. Oh. You were just guessing though, then, weren't you? You were going to go through the whole list then, weren't you?
No.
So I'm probably going to go with Andre Russell. Again, I didn't know you were going to be asking these sorts of questions, and had I known that, I would have done 5 minutes of research, and I would have looked it up. Who is your greatest T20 player of all time?
Oh.
You said Chris Gayle before.
Chris Gayle, but he AB de Villiers, maybe, okay. But didn't he do the quickest century in?
He did the quickest century in ODI cricket, not in T20 cricket.
Okay, so it's probably de Villiers or Andre Russell.
Okay, and Gayle. You've got Gayle up there. For someone who's just learning about cricket, I think that's a pretty solid list. But stop asking me questions like this.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?